In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college basketball games happening on January 15, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college basketball games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Ohio State versus Michigan. Amidst a noon start on a holiday, as a winter storm blankets much of the nation, the atmosphere is electric with excitement, particularly because kids are out of school. It's an opportune moment for a college basketball game. In this context, Michigan is set to host Ohio State on a Monday in a Big Ten clash, and while this doesn't quite reach the intensity of their football rivalry, the matchup between the Buckeyes and Wolverines always carries significant weight. The resumption of the Big Ten's most celebrated rivalry is set to unfold on Monday as the Ohio State Buckeyes make their way to Ann Arbor to take on the Michigan Wolverines. With a season record of 12-4, the Buckeyes are commendable, but their Big Ten performance at 2-3 suggests room for improvement. On the other hand, the Wolverines enter this confrontation with a less impressive 6-10 record and a conference play standing of 1-4. Ohio State's performance this season has been noteworthy, but this upcoming game holds particular importance for them. A loss here could become a topic of discussion during March Madness, especially given their recent 2-game losing streak. In their last encounters, Ohio State fell short against Indiana with a 71-65 defeat, and against Wisconsin, they succumbed to a 71-60 loss. Despite shooting at 44.6% from the field in the latter game, it wasn't sufficient. Ohio State boasts an average of 77 points per game but allows 66.1 points defensively. Bruce Thornton stands out, averaging 17 points with a shooting percentage of 42.6. Contrary to Ohio State's relatively strong season, Michigan has struggled, lacking confidence as they approach this game. In their recent matchup against Maryland, they managed only 57 points, resulting in a 7-point loss. Oliver Nkamwa was the standout performer for Michigan, tallying 18 points and 7 rebounds. On the season, Michigan averages 80 points but concedes 78 points per game. Unfortunately, their defense is ranked 332nd, and Doug McDaniel, with an average of 18 points, is facing a recent scoring downturn. After this game, Michigan is set to face tough opponents in Illinois, Purdue, and Iowa. Last season, these two teams clashed once, with Michigan claiming a 77-69 victory at home as -2.5 favorites. Presently, the Wolverines stand at 5-11 against the spread, while the Buckeyes are at 7-9 against the spread. Despite Ohio State's limited bench depth, the Wolverines do not extend much further. However, Ohio State possesses more consistent scorers, with 3 players averaging over 14 points per game. Michigan has 4 double-digit scorers, but McDaniel's recent struggles are evident. Ohio State aims to replicate this, relying on their defense to trouble the Wolverines. In the last 5 meetings, the Buckeyes have a 2-1 straight-up and against the spread record in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines' dismal season is unlikely to take a turn for the better on Monday afternoon. Ohio State, with 2 consecutive Big Ten losses, is poised to exploit one of the worst defenses in the nation. Michigan's defensive weaknesses, especially in points allowed and 3-point defense, coupled with their high turnover rate, play into Ohio State's favor. The Buckeyes' 82nd ranked scoring offense is expected to capitalize on Michigan's vulnerable defense. Despite Michigan's offensive success, particularly from 3-point range, Ohio State's 78th rank in 3-point defense bodes well for the Buckeyes. While Michigan holds the unenviable position of being the worst team in the Big Ten, playing at home may offer some solace. The Wolverines often secure halftime leads but struggle in the second half. Ohio State, eager to break their 2-game losing streak, faces a Michigan team characterized by poor defense and coaching. Ohio State is expected to encounter minimal challenges in this game. Despite Michigan's average of 78 points per game, Ohio State is predicted to dominate, securing a victory. Therefore, the choice is for the Ohio State Buckeyes to win and cover the spread as favorites in our full-game side pick. Both Ohio State and Michigan exhibit stronger offensive capabilities than defensive prowess. The Wolverines, in particular, struggle defensively, and their offense must maintain a high tempo to compensate for the points they are likely to concede. Fortunately, playing at home provides an advantage, especially with key player Doug McDaniel participating in home games despite serving a road suspension. Ohio State, while not playing at a fast tempo, is expected to capitalize on a significant rebounding margin for second-chance points. In their last meeting, these two teams combined for 146 points, exceeding a 145-point total. This season, the over has a 9-7 record in Ohio State's games and an 11-5 record in Michigan's games. The Wolverines' defensive struggles are evident, having allowed at least 75 points in 8 games. Conversely, their offense has scored 75 or more in 11 games. Ohio State, in their last 4 games, has allowed opponents to score over 70 points consistently. The Buckeyes are poised to capitalize on opportunities from the perimeter and assert control early in the game. Both teams boast top 100 scoring offenses, and Michigan, playing catch-up as they have done frequently this season, is expected to contribute to pushing the game over the total. Additionally, both teams are in the top 50 for three-point shooting this season, promising an exciting offensive display. Michigan's defensive challenges set the stage for a high-scoring affair on Monday afternoon. With both teams ranking in the top 50 in three-point shooting, a high-scoring game is anticipated. Therefore, our full game total pick is for the game to go over the projected total. Villanova versus Marquette. On Martin Luther King Jr. Day, fans of Big East basketball are in for a treat with an enticing afternoon clash featuring the Villanova Wildcats and the number 11 Marquette Golden Eagles. The Wildcats are riding high after a convincing 94-69 home victory against DePaul, where they not only emerged victorious but also covered the spread as substantial 19.5-point favorites. Meanwhile, Marquette suffered an upset on their home court, falling to Butler 69-62 as 11.5-point favorites. It's worth noting that Marquette had the upper hand in both encounters against Villanova in the previous season. Villanova's season has been a roller coaster, securing victories in 6 of their initial 7 games, followed by a challenging stretch of defeats against St. Joseph's, Drexel, and Kansas State. Nevertheless, they have rebounded impressively with wins over UCLA, Creighton, DePaul, Xavier, and a rematch triumph against DePaul, where they dominated with a 52-37 run in the second half for a final score of 94-69. Notably, Eric Dixon spearheaded the offensive charge with 24 points, complemented by Tyler Burton's double-double performance of 14 points and 10 rebounds. On the Marquette side, their season started strongly with only 2 losses in their first 8 games against Purdue and Wisconsin. However, they have encountered a mixed bag of results lately, boasting a 5-3 record in their last 8 matchups. Notable victories over Texas, Notre Dame, St. Thomas, Minnesota, Georgetown, and Creighton were balanced by losses to Providence, Seton Hall, and Butler. In their recent defeat to Butler, Marquette held a 35-28 lead at halftime but faltered in the second half, ultimately succumbing 69-62. Cam Jones emerged as the leading scorer for the Eagles, contributing 20 points and 3 rebounds in 34 minutes of play. Despite Marquette's recent stumbles, they were initially touted as one of the top teams in the nation. The Golden Eagles aim to rebound from consecutive losses to Seton Hall and Butler, especially since the latter occurred on their home turf. Facing a Villanova team with an 11-5 record and a track record of inconsistency, Marquette is poised to capitalize on their defensive strengths. According to Ken Palm, Marquette boasts the 10th best defense nationally in adjusted efficiency, whereas Villanova's offense ranks 44th. Marquette's strength lies in the balanced trio of their top players: Kolek, the pass-first point guard, Jones, the perimeter scorer, and Iguodaro, the athletic big capable of finishing around the rim. Despite recent setbacks, Marquette had won 5 of their last 6 games, including impressive victories over Texas and Creighton. The loss to Butler may have been a setback, but Marquette's home record remains formidable at 8-1 straight up. Villanova, on the other hand, faces challenges with injuries, as Justin Moore and Jordan Longino are questionable. This could potentially leave Nova without 2 of their starters, adding an extra layer of difficulty against a talented and motivated Marquette team. In conclusion, the Marquette Golden Eagles, with their balanced and efficient offense, hold the upper hand in this matchup, especially on their home court where they have excelled with an 8-1 record. Despite being 5-point favorites, this represents a favorable buy low opportunity. Therefore, the Marquette Golden Eagles to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Villanova's playing style typically leans towards a slower tempo, currently ranked 305th in the nation. In light of injuries to key players like Moore and Longino, Nova may opt for an even more deliberate pace to limit possessions against a formidable opponent. Eric Dixon, the team's leading scorer, prefers a methodical approach, and Villanova has leaned towards lower-scoring games recently, going under in 6 of their last 8 matchups. Marquette, with its elite defense ranking 10th in the nation, is likely to contribute to a further slowdown of Villanova's offense, which itself ranks 28th in defensive efficiency. Marquette has also trended towards the under, going below the total in 4 of their last 5 games. Reflecting on last season's matchups, these two teams averaged a combined 135.5 points per game, with both games going under the total. This season, both Villanova and Marquette have seen more of their games go under, totaling 20 games between them. KenPom's rankings place Villanova 305th in tempo and Marquette 70th, suggesting a slower pace of play. Villanova's offense has struggled, scoring 68 points or less in 5 of their last 9 games. Marquette, having scored 62 points or less twice in their last 5 games, faces the best defense in their conference. In the last 10 games between these two teams, the under has prevailed 7 times. Given these trends and factors, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Iowa versus Minnesota. The forthcoming Monday night fixture in the Big Ten Conference is poised to deliver an enthralling clash as the Iowa Hawkeyes prepare to face off against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. With Iowa holding a record of 10-6 and Minnesota currently standing at 12-4, the stakes are high in this matchup. Iowa's ascent to a 10-6 record was underscored by their triumphant home game against Nebraska, which concluded with a scoreline of 94-76. The Hawkeyes showcased their prowess by outpacing the Cornhuskers in the closing stages, setting the stage for their quest to secure their first road victory in Minneapolis. Currently, Iowa boasts impressive offensive statistics, averaging 87 points per game with a 47.8% shooting accuracy, while defensively allowing 77.5 points per game. Placed second in the Big Ten with a 3-1 record in conference play, the Hawkeyes are gearing up to face Purdue, Maryland, and Michigan in subsequent encounters. Contrastingly, Minnesota, with a 12-4 record, suffered a setback in Bloomington against Indiana, losing 74-62. The Golden Gophers struggled to recover from a sluggish start against the Hoosiers and are now determined to bounce back against the Hawkeyes. Displaying offensive efficiency, Minnesota averages 78 points per game with a 48.2% shooting accuracy, while defensively conceding 67 points per game. Positioned second in the Big Ten with a 3-1 record in conference play, the Golden Gophers boast an impressive 11-1 home record and an 8-2 performance over their last 10 games. Iowa's struggles on the road have been apparent, marked by a drop in scoring, porous defense, reduced turnovers forced, and challenges on the boards. In stark contrast, Minnesota has been formidable at home, suffering only 1 loss and maintaining a perfect record against the spread. This dichotomy is the basis for the expectation that the Golden Gophers should emerge victorious. Their robust defense is anticipated to exploit Iowa's 42.9% shooting in away games, with the visiting Hawkeyes vulnerable to a 52.3% shooting allowance. Minnesota's solid defensive performance is projected to be the pivotal factor, propelling them to success. Despite Iowa's commendable recent form, the formidable home court advantage of the Gophers, coupled with their defensive prowess, positions them for another significant triumph. Thus, the Minnesota Golden Gophers to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. On a related note, the offensive capabilities of the Gophers are not to be underestimated, with a roster featuring 5 players averaging at least 10 points per game. As they gear up for the upcoming clash, Minnesota recognizes the necessity for a robust offensive showing against the Hawkeyes, who boast the 18th best offense in the nation, scoring 117 points per 100 possessions. Iowa's rapid playing style, utilizing 74.5 possessions per 40 minutes, ranks them as the 7th quickest team in the nation, contributing to their impressive 87 points per game. The statistical profile of the Hawkeyes, both offensively and defensively, sets the stage for a high-paced encounter. KenPom rates Iowa as the nation's 7th fastest team, further accentuating their swift gameplay. On the defensive front, Iowa concedes 88 points per game on the road, with opponents shooting over 50%, aligning with Minnesota's commendable field goal percentage of of 48.2%. With this backdrop, the Golden Gophers are anticipated to easily surpass the 80-point mark in the game. The Hawkeyes' offensive prowess, consistently scoring 70-plus points throughout the season, adds credence to the expectation of a high-scoring affair. In summary, a plethora of scoring opportunities is projected, suggesting that the game will comfortably surpass the total. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.